Have you ever felt like you're just bad with money? You've probably been told that it's all your fault, that you just need to budget better. But what if I told you that's not the whole truth? Today, we are going to tear down the biggest myth in personal finance, a so-called rule that was made for an economy that honestly just doesn't exist anymore.
Look, let's just be real for a second. So many of us feel like we're failing, like we're drowning in our finances. But what if it's not actually your fault? What if you've been sold a broken system, a lie that's been packaged and sold as the ultimate financial wisdom for decades? So, what is this big lie? Oh, it's a rule you know well. It's been hammered into our heads for years by every financial guru on the planet. A rule that promised to be the key, the secret to finally getting your money in order. Yep, you guessed it, the 50-30-20 rule. The idea sounds so perfect, right? 50% of your take-home pay goes to needs, 30% to wants, and a nice, healthy 20% gets tucked away for savings. It's logical, it's clean, but it has a huge, fatal flaw. Here's the deal. The math is completely broken. Why? Because the world has changed. This rule was designed for a totally different economic reality, and trying to apply it today is like trying to use a flip phone to order an Uber. It just doesn't work. Let's break down the actual numbers, and you'll see exactly what I mean. Okay, so let's use a real-world number. The median household in the US brings home about $3,500 a month after taxes. This isn't some made-up number. This is the reality for millions of people. All right, so if we take that $3,500 and apply the old 50-30-20 rule, it breaks down like this. You get $1,750 for your needs, about $1,000 for your wants, and $700 for savings. On paper, it looks great. But now, let's see what happens when real life comes knocking. This is where the whole thing just falls apart. You have $1,750 for everything. We're talking rent, groceries, utilities, the gas to get to your job. It all has to squeeze into this one little number. So how does that stack up against reality? Well, the average rent in the US is nearly $2,000 a month. And boom, just like that, the math doesn't just fail, it completely shatters. I mean, this slide says it all, doesn't it? Your entire needs budget is completely wiped out by rent. And you're still short. We haven't even bought a single gallon of milk or paid an electricity bill. The rule isn't just unrealistic. For most people, it's mathematically impossible. And oh, the problems don't stop there. Because that little 30% bucket you have for wants, yeah, that's become a fantasy too. In our current economy, a whole lot of those so-called wants are now non-negotiable needs, squeezing your budget even tighter. Just think about it. Groceries have skyrocketed 25% in just a couple of years. Gas, utilities, and childcare averaging $1,300 a month. These aren't luxuries. You're not buying designer handbags here. This is the basic cost of surviving, and it's devouring the money you were told you'd have for yourself. And this number absolutely destroys the myth that you should be saving 20%. The Federal Reserve, we're not talking about some random blogger here. This is the Fed, found that almost 40% of Americans can't handle a simple $400 emergency. So when we're told to just save 20%, it's not just unhelpful, it's completely disconnected from the world we actually live in. So, enough complaining. If the old way is broken, what's the alternative? We need a new plan, a plan that's actually built for the here and now. I call it the Survive, Stabilize, Scale method, and it's a real, practical way to build financial security. It's a really simple, three-step game plan. First, you survive. You figure out your absolute bare-bones living expenses. Second, you stabilize. You build a small safety net. And third, you scale. You start investing even if it's just a little bit. All right, step one is survive. And I want you to forget those crazy, complicated budget spreadsheets for a minute. Just figure out the absolute rock bottom minimum you need to live each month. Housing, food, getting to work, and your minimum debt payments. That's it. That's your survival number. And just knowing that number, that alone puts you back in control. Okay, step two, stabilize. Before you do anything else, your mission is to build a $1,000 emergency fund. This is not about getting rich, it's about being able to sleep at night. This is the buffer that keeps a flat tire from becoming a full-blown financial disaster. And you need to put it in a high-yield savings account so it's actually growing a little while it's protecting you. And now, we get to the exciting part. Step three, scale. Once you've got that emergency fund built, it's time to start investing. And listen to me, you do not need a ton of money to get started. Even $50 a month is more than enough to start building real wealth. The secret isn't the amount you invest, it's the consistency.
And if you think $50 a month is nothing, look at this. That tiny investment, made automatically every month, could grow to over $59,000 in 25 years. That, my friends, is the magic of compounding. It's not about getting rich quick, it's about building wealth over time, for real. So the bottom line is pretty simple. The old rules are broken. It's time to let go of the guilt, to throw out the old playbook, and start using a financial map that's actually designed for the world we live in today. And I really want you to let this sink in. You are not bad with money. You are simply using an old, outdated map to get around a city that has completely changed. The streets are different, the buildings are new, of course you feel lost. It's time for a new map. So I'll leave you with this question. What's your first step going to be? Are you going to calculate your survival number? Are you going to open up that high-yield savings account? Or maybe you'll start that small automated investment. Whatever you choose, the most important thing you can do is just